Hello everyone, welcome to this video. Let's get straight into it instead of farting about with a long intro. I have done some research in this, and as you can see on the screen here, I went into the variety.com site because I've seen this on Discord that Bloodborne is going to be produced by JackSepticeye. It's going to be a R-rated animated movie adaptation from Sony. Let's have a little look. And let's read it because we've got Variety, we've got another one which is gem@sue.com and Sony as well. So basically that's on the IGN.com website. So I've got three different tabs up saying almost the same thing, that Bloodborne is going to be produced by JackSepticeye and Sony as well. It says PlayStation's Bloodborne is being developed into an R-rated animated feature for Sony Pictures that the studio says will embrace the carnage that made the game so popular. Sanford Pinch, president of Sony Pictures Entertainment Motion Picture Group, that's a freaking mouthful and a half, promised during the studio's CinemaCon presentation that the long-rumoured film will be very true to the gory spirit of Bloodborne, which follows a traveller who journeys into a gothic city full of nightmarish creatures. Do you know what? I have been thinking and most probably saying that someone should be turning Bloodborne into like a film a little while ago. And it looks like it is. Bloodborne was developed by FromSoftware, which have put a halt onto a remake and 60 FPS patch and porting it over to the PC. So FromSoftware, get your fingers out your orifices and make a remake of Bloodborne and port it over to PC. Bloodborne, which shares a parent company with Sony Pictures and PlayStation. The film is co-produced by PlayStation Productions, Lyrical Animation, and creator and gamer Sean McLaughlin, better known by his pseudonym JackSepticeye. For the unenumerated, McLaughlin is a gamer who has spent years in the world of Bloodborne, where his digital adventures are tracked by 48 million online fans. I wish I had freaking 48 million fans on YouTube. The film is the latest in a string of video game adaptations. Sony Pictures and PlayStation Productions recently announced the adaptation of Helldivers, directed by Justin Lin, who has helmed several Fast and Furious films, and starring Jason Momoa. The studio also recently completed filming a screen adaptation of Nintendo's The Legend of Zelda Hey, Ronnie Egg, Ronnie Plays, Ronnie Outdoors. Hey, hold up. It looks like that they've done a screen adaptation of your favourite game, Legends of Zelda. Res Bull, the Maze Runner, will direct with Benjamin Evan Answorth and Bo Bagason starring as Link and Princess Zelda. Series creator Shigeru Miyamoto is producing the film. Oh, you know what? I better screenshot this for him as well, so at least that way he can see it as well. I'll send it after. Video game adaptations have become a huge source of box office revenue. Recent films in the genre, such as a Minecraft movie, yeah, I've seen little clips and that of the Minecraft movie with Jack Black, I think, and the Super Mario Bros. Movie are among the highest grossing films of the post-COVID era. Lyrical media parent company of Lyrical Animations is co-financing Bloodborne with Sony Pictures. Matt Coughlin is repaired by CAA, Nicole Ambrose, Hansen Jacobson, and 42 West. So let's go over to Gematsu one as well. Bloodborne Animated Movie announced R-rated film will remain very true to the spirit of Bloodborne. So basically it's saying almost the same as this one here, Variety. Saying that JackSepticeye is going to co-finance with Sony and it's going to be co-produced as well. IGN is also saying the same thing as well. Bloodborne R-rated animated movie in development with JackSepticeye producing. Sony producers. Sony Pictures made the announcement at CinemaCon 2026. Sony Pictures announced at CinemaCon on Monday that they are making an R-rated animated feature film based on the video game Bloodborne. While no details on the movie's plot were revealed, it is expected that it will follow a hunter battling beasts in the city of Yharnam. That's what I'm thinking is battling the beasts of Yharnam, and most probably my guess is that they might go out to Canehurst as well, or something like that. I'm not too sure, but we just have to wait, won't we? There were no announcements on the film's director, screenwriter, voice cast, or release date, so we just have to wait. The Bloodborne movie is produced by PlayStation Productions, Lyrical Animations, and YouTuber and gamer JackSepticeye. Lyrical Media is co-financing the Bloodborne movie with Sony Pictures. The Bloodborne game was developed by FromSoftware and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. In a Bloodborne review, IGN awarded the action game a 9.1 score, calling it an amazing, exciting and exhausting pilgrimage through a glorious land that imposes the feeling of appreciation, bollocks, a bottom of descent into madness. Bloodborne has made IGN's list of horror game masterpieces, 25 best FromSoftware bosses, and it ranks third on our picks of the 100 best PlayStation games of all time. Recently, we learned that a Bloodborne remake was reportedly pitched by Bluepoint and accepted by Sony, but FromSoftware turned it down. There you go, folks. And it says it on the IGN website. So, there we go. So let's have a look at this video, what they've done.
We touched on this a second ago. One of the big things about RE4 is that it is this weird kind of pivot from classic horror to, action horror.
Yeah.
A lot of games have this. That's not a problem necessarily. When we talk about horror games, we talk about games that have horror themes, and they're not always like the big one. I think is Bloodborne,
right?
Which I think is a horror game because it's completely steeped in horror themes.
Right.
Mechanically, it's an action RPG.
Guys, we can't talk about Bloodborne every week on the show.
We're going to. I'm sorry.
We have to.
I love Bloodborne.
Yes, I mean, like
Is Bloodborne a horror game?
No.
Is Bloodborne a horror game?
It looks like one. I've never played it.
But because it's too scary?
It looks too scary.
Yeah, it's a horror game.
I'm kind of scared.
I guess I'm outvoted here. I don't know. It's just I can't take a Souls game as a horror game. Like, you wouldn't say Elden Ring is a horror game. You wouldn't say Dark Souls is a horror game. Yes, they're very horror thematic, but they're not horror games. There's the only thing I guess it has it going for being a horror game is that you could die. You feel like you could die at any given second.
I bet you
you fight werewolves.
Yeah, you fight werewolves, skeletons, probably mummies.
I would put Bloodborne as a horror game.
It's got tons of sort of Lovecraft influence, and obviously Lovecraft is known for his contributions to the action role playing genre of fiction. No, horror. He's known for horror. It's a horror game.
It is. Okay, so genre-wise, yes, it is technically an action RPG, right?
Yes.
But it is thematically just incredibly deeply horror to me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's such a weird one because you look at other big horror games take Left 4 Dead.
Right.
Left 4 Dead is very heavy action, very co-op centric. It's technically classified as a horror game. But again, for me, it's a
co-op shooter.
It's a co-op shooter.
Right.
It's not a horror game.
Is Call of Duty Zombies a horror game?
No, it's not because it's so weird.
This feels like is a hot dog a sandwich question.
Yeah,
It's like what is your definition of a horror game at this point?
Well, so my
a hot dog sandwich is a horror game.
If you eat the hot dog sideways, it's a sandwich, but if you eat it vertically, it's a taco. It's very simple. But again, that's a mechanical issue.
What if you take a bite out of the middle of it?
Then it's corn on the cob. Anyway, the thing with horror is that it can be a mechanic or it can be a narrative theme,
right?
And in the case of when I think a pure horror game, it's something like Outlast.
That's my go-to.
Like Amnesia, because that's a game where
PT.
The goal is I mean that is a dedicated horror game. You pretty much are devoid of abilities. You are not. You're not jumping around and collecting things as well as being scared.
Yeah.
But then you have things that are completely, steeped in horror elements like Bloodborne or Castlevania, where it's these are clearly this is, capital H horror flavored.
Right.
But Darkstalkers is a game with a mummy and a sexy Dracula and then a regular Dracula and then I think a Wolfman or something. And it's Is that a horror game?
No, it's a fighting game.
Exactly.
So yeah, that is like my argument for Bloodborne not being a horror game, because there's so many games. Like, you wouldn't say Castlevania is a horror game. It's horror themed, but it's a Metroidvania. It is its own genre.
So is The Last of Us a horror game?
Yes.
I would put Last of Us as like a psychological horror, because it's more
survival horror,
or survival horror. Excuse me. Yes, yeah, because it's more about like surviving in the world,
right,
versus like being afraid of the actual creatures that are there. Like, I don't know. I'm just not afraid of any of the infected or the clickers and things like that. In that,
Well, that sounds like a personal.
That could be
not problem. I
that
guess.
could just be that. I guess I'm the bravest person on the gas.
Is that like a hotel apartment complex you go in The Last of Us 2 is like straight up horror, right? Like there's it's
the
murky.
entire thing is like gross and like infected.
There's murky, wet basements you go in with like one shank, and like you're like, I got to get through this whole thing, and they hear me.
I just punch everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, well, okay.
Is Little Nightmares a horror game?
Little Nightmares.
Is that a horror game?
Yes.
Or is that a puzzle platformer?
I would say Little Nightmares is, because it's about like.
With Little Nightmares, I would class it as a horror platform game. That's what I class that as.
The world that it's set in is so it's very drenched in horror, and I know that's what we said with Bloodborne. I know we said Bloodborne. Let me get to my point.
Okay.
But the element of like it has this element of putting you in this constant state of fear while you're playing this game, and where your character is like constantly just afraid, and like, you know, you're trying to you're finding your way, and like your life and survival depends on you getting from point A to point B.
Bloodborne has an entire mechanic where if you like look at certain enemies, you go mad.
It's so scary.
I think what you're trying to say though, right, is like the way the character is written actually has a lot to play. If your character is like not scared and it's just badass walking through these horror like scenarios, it's like, okay, why should I be scared?
Right.
But if the character itself is like put in a horror situation and they act like a normal person, or like, oh my god, this is so weird.
Maybe honestly, maybe that is the key element. What makes a horror game is whether or not you can kill the thing that's trying to kill you.
I think it's a little bit of that. I think it comes down to kind of the narrative directors on the games, the writers that are writing.
So yeah, there we go, folks. Now you've seen it and heard it. That Bloodborne is going to be
Bloodborne video game getting a rated animated movie.
A animated film. Or animated film. So what does this say? Let's have a listen.
Movie adaptation from Sony. PlayStation's Bloodborne is being developed into an R-rated animated feature for Sony Pictures that the studio says will embrace the carnage that made the game so popular. Sanford Panich, president of Sony Pictures Entertainment Motion Picture Group, promised during the studio's CinemaCon presentation that the long-rumored film will be very true to the gory spirit of Bloodborne, which follows a traveler who journeys into a gothic city full of nightmarish creatures. Bloodborne was developed by FromSoftware and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment, which shares a parent company with Sony Pictures and PlayStation. The film is co-produced by PlayStation Productions, lyrical animation and creator and gamer Sean McLaughlin, better known by his pseudonym JackSepticeye. For the uninitiated, McLaughlin is a gamer who has spent years in the world of Bloodborne, where his digital adventures are tracked by 48 million online fans. The film is the latest in a string of video game adaptations. Sony Pictures and PlayStation Productions recently announced the adaptation of Helldivers, directed by Justin Lin, who has helmed several Fast and Furious films, and starring Jason Momoa. The studio also recently completed filming a screen adaptation of Nintendo's The Legend of Zelda. Wes Ball, the Maze Runner, will direct, with Benjamin Evan Ainsworth and Bo Bragason starring as Link and Princess Zelda. Series creator Shigeru Miyamoto is producing the film. Video game adaptations have become a huge source of box office revenue. Recent films in the genre, such as a Minecraft movie and the Super Mario Bros. Movie, are among the highest-grossing films of the post-COVID era. Lyrical Media, parent company of Lyrical Animation, is co-financing Bloodborne with Sony Pictures. McLaughlin is repped by CAA, Nicole Ambrose, Hanson Jacobson, and 42 West.
Sponsor message, then we're back. Ready to launch your business? Get started with...
So there you go, folks. Now you've seen the evidence, heard the clip there. You've seen a video of it all, that Bloodborne is coming to a screen near you, whether it be on the PlayStation, or it could be on Amazon, it could be on Netflix. Who knows? We just have to wait and see when it's going to be released, who is going to cast in it, what the script is going to be like, and everything else. I hope you enjoyed this little improv video. Hope to see you very, very soon. Goodbye for now, and take care.